Hey guys, my name is Julia and I'm one of your teen services librarians over at the main library on Goodwood. There is absolutely nothing to see here this week because we're making invisible ink. Supplies that accompany this week's video are available at the main library in limited capacity. To make your own invisible ink pen, you're going to need one highlighter, one 3-volt coin battery, electrical tape, a disposable cup, a paper clip, a UV LED light, craft foam, scissors, and all the hot water in the land. To get started, we are going to test our LED. So your LED is going to have a positive and a negative leg. The positive leg is the longer one. So you want to sit that on the positive side of the battery and the negative on the negative. Great, it works. So we are going to go ahead and start building our flashlight, and we're going to cut out kind of an arched shape in our light. Okay, cool, this works. I'm going to go ahead and trim up around the edges so it's a little neater, and then we're going to wrap that in electrical tape. Okay, my bulb is all wrapped up. It's not the prettiest thing that ever exists, but it works. And just to prove that this works real quick, I'm marking on my hand with a highlighter, and then we will shine the light on it. Okay, for this next step, we are going to take the tape that should be on the back of your highlighters off. Next, take your safety pin, and you want to bend it into some kind of pincer shape because it doesn't really want to come out the back super easily. We're just going to pop that right into our plastic cup. So on this next step, before we get started, let me clarify a couple of things. Do not put any of this in your mouth at any point in time. Do not drink the highlighter water we're about to make. Don't pour the highlighter water over your dishes. Don't stick your highlighter hands in your mouth. Like, it's not going to kill you, but seriously, that's really bad for you. In this next step, we're going to go ahead and start adding hot water to our cup. You want like hot shower hot, not boiling hot. And you just want to slowly pour water over it and then let it sit for a minute or two. Just for fun, check out what this water looks like with your flashlight. I'm going to use a black light because that's easier for camera, but you should see that it glows. Okay, so from our first soak, I'm just going to pour that down the drain, and then I'm going to flip the marker the opposite way and add some more warm water to it. And you're just going to repeat this however long it takes to get this to start marking clear, but still show up under your UV light. Something you might find this kind of useful to do is to go ahead and squeeze some of the ink out. And this also looks pretty cool under black light. After you've gotten most of the ink out of your cartridge, you want to stick the actual casing in. And don't forget about the chisel, and very carefully try to pour some water down and get some of that extra dye off the chisel. You've bled everything out. Go ahead and stick your cartridge back in your casing. It may be kind of a tough fit. And then test your pen out on something. I'm just gonna write on my hand. So what happens under black light then? All right, have fun, guys. Okay, so now it's time for the science. What we think of as light is actually just a tiny sliver of what light actually is, and we call that visible light, but there's so much more to light, like X-rays and radio waves and ultraviolet or UV light. More on that in a second. So fluorescence is the ability of a substance to absorb either light or electromagnetic radiation and then emit it later. And there's a lot of ways this can happen. A common way is by absorbing UV light. So this is how our highlighters work. They're made with regular dyes like a Sharpie or any other marker is, but then there is a UV fluorescent dye that's added to it. So the highlighter will reflect regular light, it's going to absorb it, bounce it back to our eyes, but then it's also going to do that with UV light, and this makes it so much brighter to us. And this is why anything that's high visibility usually has some kind of UV fluorescent dye in it, and that could be construction vest or road signs or a number of any other things. The way our project worked today is that we actually bled out most of the regular dyes for our highlighter, so it writes like it's invisible, but you can still see the UV ink when it's under a black light. If you have any questions or comments about this week's activity, holler at us. Our phone number is 231-3770, or you can leave a comment on this video. Better yet, tag us on Instagram and show us what you made. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this, and I cannot wait to see you next time.